Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Replay Megaman 04. In the last part we found out about Ragnarok and now I'm going to go after our first mission. And we're going after Noble, but first off I actually want to change the weather so that its panel is flashing. I'll go over that in a moment. This area used to belong to another resistance group. Now it's being used as a forward base by Vile. I'm detecting plant-like nanomachines. They seem to be thriving on the geothermal energy. At this rate, they'll continue until they engulf Area 0. Stop them before that happens. This mission? Yup. Alright, ready for transfer. Transfer! And like usual, I'll never be reading that again unless it's new dialogue. This area is overflowing with nanomachines. Nanomachine vines blocking the way can be cleared out with the Buster or Saber, or even just plucked with the Zero Knuckle. Now, as for why you want to go into the stage when the panel of the weather is flashing, that actually has to do with the way that this game's EX skills work. Unlike 0, 2, and 3 where you had to have an A or S rank to get the EX skill, all you have to do is play the stage on normal mode or above with the weather in the boss's favor, which is what happens when it's flashing. What that pretty much means is that the stages will be slightly harder or just have a slight difference. And the bosses, I think, actually have a new technique. The main difference is those vines right here. As you saw I pulled the vines, but they quickly regrew. When the weather is not in the favor of the boss, the vines don't regrow at all. That's pretty much all that changes when the game gets easier or harder. Well, no, when the weather changes in this stage. Certain graphical aspects also change, but we'll skip that. We'll see that later. Now, coming up here, something I actually didn't know when I was first recording this stage. You see that little different-looking part of the wall there? That is actually a passage that leads to a 1-up. The way you open it is that you wall cling to it. Just slide down the wall enough, it'll break open. That's how I get a certain Ceratanium part now after this stage. And here we have this mini-boss who's pretty simple. He goes around the circle of the room, shooting fire, and later, when he gets lower on HP, shooting mines out of his butt. Now, it's worth noting that during this mini-boss, the mini-boss music plays. The mini-boss music is actually still a remix, to an extent at least, of the Mega Man 01 boss theme, Crash. Which is pretty sad, because that theme became a boss theme in the first game, then has pretty much been a mini-boss theme ever since. But, oh well. Now, earlier I mentioned some Ceratanium. Ceratanium is a very rare, and by that I mean it's only one of a kind in each stage. Well, not each stage even, in certain stages. You can find it by wall clinging to where the life bar is right now. It's a part, well, like an enemy part kind of thing. Those are very rare, and by that, like I said, I mean they show up in very few stages, and they're one of a kind per playthrough of the stage. By the way, sub-tank right here. Yet again, there are 4 of them in the game. But that actually leads into what I was saying about the Ceratanium. The Ceratanium is used for either body chips or to make sub-tanks. So I needed about, I think, 5 Ceratanium, which is why I replayed the stage 5 times off-screen, so I can get enough for the body chip I want and for the sub-tanks I'm going to need. Because I am going for all 4. Unlike the previous 2 games where I didn't get everything, technically speaking. Anyway, time for the boss. Not a very hard stage, obviously, hence why I didn't really have much to talk about in it other than the Ceratanium thing. But it's time for the boss herself, Noble Mandrago. Oh my, I thought a rat wandered in, but it was just you. You're going to a lot of trouble for the environment. Too bad that trouble will be wasted. You have no hope of stopping Ragnarok. If you're just going to waste energy, give it to me. I'll drain you dry. Noble is actually the easiest boss out of the 8, which is why I went after her first. Attack-wise, she can spam an attack like that wall-to-wall, but more often than not, she stays in the floor or ceiling and will fire either bees or honey at you. As you can just... she also, I think this only happens when the weather's in her favor, has a healing attack where she throws sparkles around her and recovers a bit of HP. Like that, actually. She is not a very hard boss. She can also summon these little cactus mouths, But as you'll see here, they don't really do much for her. Not a very hard boss at all, hence why I went after her first. I'm shriveling up. I'm a flower cut down before I could blossom. Lord Vile. But yeah, that was the first stage I'd show. It's pretty easy, so pretty good first choice, honestly. And for beating that, with her weather in her favor, we got her EX skill. If I would press A. Sky Chaser, which is pretty much the usual up and A move. And our elf's max level increased, so now we can actually use one of the abilities of our elf. Oh, and also I grinded for the 2,000 energy crystals instead of what last time. Artificial plants. How ironic that the very technology meant to protect nature is destroying it. Humans are capable of the most wonderful and the most terrifying things with the power of science. As a scientist, it makes me shiver just thinking about it. Alright. And as I just said, I grinded for 2,000-ish energy crystals in between parts. Hence, there it is, 2,200 actually. So now I'm actually going to talk to Alouette and evolve my elf. Give her energy crystals, and she evolves, getting levels added to the left there. Each of those levels cost one total level, as you'll see here when I go to select one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's my total level, but you cannot surpass your max level. But as you're seeing here, each one of these dots is another ability, and you can mix and match those levels as you wish. But the thing is, if you go over your max level, you actually get points deducted from your end mission score. So, if you want to have the best run possible in terms of ranks, don't go over your max level. For right now, I'm just going to stick with my upgrade running speed from the first level animal type ability. And right there was actually where I did the grinding for the Cerataniums. I've discovered an old cyber elf research lab that's over a century old. Some of the failed experiments have been in hibernation since the war. They're starting to wake up, and some of them are quite dangerous. There are mechanoids and mavericks all over the place. Infiltrate and wipe out the enemy. This mission? Yep. Now, this stage can be interesting because it actually has multiple pathways that depend... Well, first off, I should restart that sentence when the stage actually starts. I found a door in a different location with a special lock, and it looks like you'll need a card key to open it. This doesn't have any direct bearing on your current mission, but I just wanted to let you know in case you wanted to check it out. If you have the weather in the boss's favor like I do, you can't actually do anything about that. The thing is, you might see coming up here, there's actually a branch. There's a giant pit and a wall to the right that actually has another pathway on it. This stage has two pathways, the upper and the lower. You can only access the lower when the weather is not snowing, aka not in the boss's favor. So if you're going for everything like I am, or at least getting the EX skill and all that, you can't get the extra thing with that key card until after you beat the level. Anyway, this stage, first off, is reusing sound effects from 0-1 even with the elevator. I was kind of surprised when I first heard that. It's also here we get some V-fires, which I want at least 3 of, I believe, for the parts I want. Because I actually do have the parts I want all lined up. But that'll wait until then. Though it is pretty interesting because you can get quite a few customization options with the part system. Like, there's one body chip I know for a fact, well, technically 3, because some body chips have more than one variation. But there's this one called Strong, Stronger, and Strongest, which actually protects you from instant death. Or, well, instant death traps like spikes. Crushing in bottomless pits are still instant death. And heck, for parts I need this guy's. This is the Serpent Gear. He's a pretty simple mini-boss, actually. There's 4 little cannons that shoot out the actual Serpent Gears, and you need to destroy all 4 cannons in order for the boss to end. You can tell what little opening the Serpent Gear is coming out of, dependent on the light. And the Serpent Gears actually flow in the direction you are, so if you're above the thing, they'll go up, but if you're below the thing, they'll head down. It's not a very hard mini-boss in terms of concept or in difficulty. Though, obviously, you can get quite a few parts from it if your luck's good. But yeah, that's a mini-boss. And you do have to fight it no matter what the path you choose, hence why there's 3 doors here. But from here on out, this stage is always the same. In terms of what changes in the stage, depending on the difficulty, other than just the fact you can't access one path, you might see these ice spikes here. They are not there if you chose the weather in your favor. That's pretty much the way it goes. Like, there's a lot of more spikes. That's pretty much the only difference. Also, I've seen that earlier, but that was actually, I think, the first overall appearance of Metals, Metards. I switched between all three, honestly. In the Zero series, as far as I can recall. Well, technically, it's their first appearance as a normal enemy. However, in 0, 3, 2, and I think even 1, there was a Cyber Elf type. By the way, here's the special door that needs a key card. We'll be cutting back there later. In Zeros 1, 2, and 3, as far as I can recall, there was a special Cyber Elf type that could turn weak enemies into Metars. Hence why they're here. In fact, I think it's downright the same sprite. Anyway, you're going to want to grab with a Zero Knuckle this little light here. All it does is quite literally, it's just a light that does no damage. But you're going to need it for the next gimmick of this stage. These Cyber Elves. I suppose Zombie Elves is even more accurate, actually, because they'll possess the little Pantheon things there. That's actually the only appearance of Pantheons in the game, is these little Pantheon zombies. They'll possess them, and they are actually completely immortal. Should you have the weather in your favor, there's actually sunlight beams here that can actually kill the Zombie Elves. Not a very... Well, the stage is a bit harder than Nobles, but this stage, not too hard. Anyway, time for the boss, Fenri Luna Edge.
Gah, you've kept me waiting, hero. I thought you might have been ripped apart by my helpers, and here I rush to get everything ready for you. Then again, there are none that can keep up with me. I hope you can at least make things interesting for me. After all, you are a hero.
All the bosses actually do have death and opening dialogues, but it's nothing that important, really. They just kind of enhance character. Anyway, Fenri is a surprisingly hard-to-dodge boss due to his rather large hitbox and sprite. I think in the normal weather, when the boss's weather is in your favor, the ice isn't there on the floor. You can get a grasp of most of his attacks just by seeing him, but the one thing I can say is make sure you have your health high because he hurts.
Gah! Not bad, true to the hero name. But it's not over yet. Not by a long shot. The true power of Ragnarok is only just beginning. You should start preparing your list of excuses when you have to explain why you couldn't save Area 0. Ugh.
I really do like Fenri Luna Edge's design, though. It reminds me a lot of Blizzard Wolffang from X6. And there goes my S rank. Damn. And we got his EX skill, Ice Blade. Notable, EX skills, actually, because there's no elemental chips in this game, keep their element no matter what you do, unlike in 0, 2, and 3, where the EX skills will only have their element if you use them with that chip on. Thank you, Zero. You helped contain the Cyber Elves. Now they can rest in peace. But let's check out that alternate route now, shall we? This is the alternate weather for the stage, pure sunlight, which is why there's no snow. Actually, wait, Sky Chaser, I had that wrong, though. That's not the Rio Engine up attack, that's the down attack. My bad. Anyway, this is the alternate path. There's these Nikos Crabs here. There's two of them. The bombs, which are Nikos Crabs B, and this guy right here, Nikos Crab C. He has the card key. And it's a weapon, so don't attack anything with it, otherwise you will lose it. Pretty much you have to play through the entire stage with that. Well, not the entire stage. Up to the door with that if you want to get the little extra. And since we're at the mini-boss, I can cut right away to that. Use the card right there. Enter the door. And you got the second sub-tank. This is why I actually went to these two stages first, so I can get the sub-tanks. Anyway, now I'm going to evolve my elf once again, because I did some more grinding. And now I'm actually going to show you something cool. Even though they don't want you there, you can actually enter the settlement at any time you want. And you can actually get some recipes for some body, head, and foot chips here. Because some of the recipes you just get from NPCs, some of them you have to just figure out by trial and error. Nothing too decent, though. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 4, we'll be heading after the next two members of Einharjar. See you guys then.